guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I am your host Boise, and you might have noticed there's a new little intro in this video. That's right, for the first time and probably the last time, we're doing Raw versus SmackDown. Mainly because I didn't get time to do a Raw review yesterday, so I thought, why not just add the load of work today and just make a bigger video where we look at both Raw and SmackDown and just decide which show was better this week. So with all that said and done, let's get straight on with it. Let's start off with Raw. So with Raw, we kicked off with The Shield, and they cut a lackluster promo. That's right. The match themselves they had at Fastlane was really good. It showcased everyone really well, including the heels and the Shield, which was great to see. But it was pretty much a lackluster goodbye from everyone, really. Roman stated that Seth has to now focus on his Universal title match against Brock Lesnar. I have to focus on my singles matches, and Dean has to focus on whatever Dean needs to focus on. And that was about it. Next thing we know, Paul Heyman comes out of nowhere. He cuts a great promo, but Seth Rollins' responses are very, very scripted. It's a lackluster, again, a very lackluster promo from Seth Rollins. And Shelton Benjamin, that's right, Shelton Benjamin, because you have to say his name like that at least once. Thank you, Usos, for bringing that into my life. Attacks Seth Rollins out of nowhere. That's right, a SmackDown superstar is now on Raw, so I guess the brand split is coming to an end in some way. And that led to the first match of the night. So what am I going to give the first opening segment for Raw? Well, I'm going to give this a 2.5 star. I think everything which was said was fine. It just felt a little bit less impactful. I think because Fastlane was such a good pay-per-view, it just felt like a really awkward opening to the show. Like I said, this led to the first match of the show, and that was Seth Rollins versus Shelton Benjamin. Now you might have gone, oh well, they made this decision during the commercial break. No, actually, they made a decision, but the cameras cut off for a commercial break, and Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman still were cutting promos to each other, which led to Shelton Benjamin agreeing to go in having a match with Seth Rollins. And the match was, again, okay. It wasn't anything too special. It was just to show this is what Seth can do. This is how he could take down someone like Brock Lesnar, because Shelton Benjamin is now the head trainer of Brock Lesnar's training camp. And this is pretty much it. It was a pretty much standard type of match. It's a showcase type of match to show Seth what he can do. It allows the crowd to enjoy it, and let's be honest, Seth's been taking a while to get back into singles action, so it's good to see him in a match against someone like Shelton Benjamin, who's underused and underrated in my opinion. So on paper, it would have been a great match, but because it was doing one job and one job only, making Seth Rollins look good, it did that quite well. But for a match itself, it was, again, very lackluster. So what I'm going to give this is a 2.5 star out of 5. Next up, we had the Intercontinental Championship match where we saw Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor. And Bobby Lashley wins. Yeah, there you go. Again, a very odd type of match. Finn was completely and utterly controlled throughout the whole match. Lio Rush turned up, he started knocking the bell. Everyone got really confused because everyone thought the match had ended in some way. But no, Lio Rush was being the distraction, even though Bobby Lashley didn't need it, because again, like I stated, he was controlling the majority of the match. Bobby Lashley spears Finn Balor, and he reclaims the Intercontinental Championship. So the big question is, what was the point of giving Finn the belt in the first place if you're just going to give it straight back to Bobby Lashley in a very dominant match like this? I don't understand what the booking is. I know a lot of people are like, well, it just allows Finn to chase the belt to WrestleMania and give him that big WrestleMania moment. But for me, we've already seen this. We don't really need to see the chase again. All I would have preferred to see is Finn Balor be a capable champion and actually have a good long reign with the IC title, which should have been the first case anyway. So for me, I'm going to give this a 2.5 star out of 5. Next up, we had a Ronda Rousey angry promo. That's right, because she has attitude now, and let's be honest, it was interesting to see this. It was a kind of little demo of what we're going to get with Ronda Rousey now. She's going to take on Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. And she was interrupted by Dana Brooke, who reminded her, you have a tradition of defending the title after every pay-per-view, and I'm here to take that challenge. And Ronda Rousey beats the crap out of Dana Brooke. And that was about it. It was good to see Ronda's new attitude. It's a nice little glimpse to where she's going, but I just felt sorry for Dana Brooke. I do feel sorry for Dana Brooke. She cut a good promo for herself. She did really well on that, but she wasn't going to last 2 seconds. She didn't last 2 seconds. And Ronda Rousey even slapped a referee and nothing was said. Nothing on WWE.com. Nothing was done. So I'm going to give this a 3-star because the new attitude to Ronda Rousey is actually quite entertaining. It's better than babyface Ronda Rousey. Next up, we had a tag team match where we saw Ricochet and Aleister Black taking on Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. This for me was probably one of the best matches of the night on Raw, and it was a surprise match for me because they didn't really get a lot of time to actually perform lots of moves, but the moves they were able to perform were absolutely outstanding. I even got to see a little glimpse of a match I always wanted to see: Bobby Roode versus Aleister Black, which I wanted to see in NXT, but I got to see a little glimpse of it in this tag team match, and I won't lie, it looked really good. Chad Gable's so underrated, it's unbelievable. The guy has pure talent, and Ricochet, I keep saying this, is Spider-Man. He has to be Spider-Man. It's the only logical sense I can think of why he's able to do everything he does in the ring. But yes, Aleister Black and Ricochet did get the victory, which was a good omen to them to become #1 contenders for the Raw tag teams. Well, I'm not sure, but it looks like that. It's kind of what was hinted by commentating. And then the Revival came out of nowhere and attacked him, which was good as well because it adds more of a feud for Ricochet and Aleister Black to go after the Raw tag team titles more on there. So what am I going to give this? Well, the match was really good. The post-match beatdown was really good as well. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Really good parts this on Raw. Next up, we had the announcement who will be hosting WrestleMania. And it was going to be presented in a moment of bliss. And who was it? None other than Alexa Bliss. That's right, the host of a moment of bliss is going to be the host of WrestleMania, which I'm fine with. She's one of the best heel characters in Raw, and it kind of means we don't have to rush her into any storylines. And if she decides to add any stipulations to matches and stuff like the New Day did when the Hardy Boyz returned, then I'm happy with that as well. So I'm going to give this a 2.5 star because I just enjoy Alexa Bliss having a little bit of power. Now I'm going to talk about 2 promos which happened separately. First things first, we had Elias returning home. That's right, this is Elias's hometown, and he just cut a typical Elias promo, stating how glad he was away from home. He doesn't have to return to that hell pit. And he got interrupted by No Way Jose. No Way Jose got the life kicked out of him, and that was pretty much it. But then we had the Braun Strowman part, where Braun Strowman was doing an interview backstage. They were talking about his aggressive nature towards the SNL hosts, or whatever, the special correspondents. These guys, I don't know who they are because I don't watch SNL because I'm English. So a majority of the world will go, who the hell are these guys? But yes, Braun Strowman got a car from SNL team to say sorry for everything. He destroys the car. It's a typical Braun Strowman kind of thing. So I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 stars for both promos. So I'm just going to lump them in together because that's how it felt for me. Next up, we had Natalya accompanied by her BFF Beth Phoenix. That's right, the Phoenix one is back. The Glamazon is back on WWE. Again, I love seeing Beth Phoenix. She's one of my favourite all-time wrestlers for women's division. She's always has been, and it's good to see her back. And she was taking on Nia Jax, accompanied by her partner, tag team partner, Tamina. This match was a very basic match. Nia Jax was in control for quite a bit of it. Natalya started getting more and more momentum. Tamina got interfered. Beth Phoenix had enough, and Beth Phoenix started attacking Nia Jax, which led to Nia Jax winning by disqualification. But Nia Jax and Tamina got their asses kicked by Beth Phoenix and Natalya, which was great, and it kind of represents that Beth Phoenix is most likely going to be challenging for the Women's WWE Tag Team title with her BFF Natalya at some point, which I'm happy to see because I really enjoy these two together. So I'm going to give this a 2.5 star, even though the match was very simple and it was basic, but having a legend like Beth Phoenix return is always good. And this led on to Triple H calling out Batista. That's right, it was built up all night that Batista will be on Raw this week, and he turned up with a hell of an entourage of security, and Triple H cut a hell of a promo. This was a fantastic back and forth promo. Triple H states, Dave, I'm gonna get you, and Dave just goes, give me what I want, we're not doing it by your side, we're doing it by my rules this time, Hunter. And that's right, we're going to get Batista versus Triple H at WrestleMania, because Triple H went, screw it, yes, we'll do it at WrestleMania, I'll give you what you want, but it's going to be it's going to be pretty much a hardcore match. I reckon it's going to be a hardcore. I reckon there's going to be weapons, there's no countouts, there's everything. It's going to be awesome. This is going to be a fantastic match. I cannot wait to see it. The promo between two guys like these are absolutely brilliant. Triple H had the best line of the whole promo. What's this? The Guardians of the Indie scene? And everyone just laughed their head off, which was a good mock at both which we know, the security are actual security, they're independent wrestlers, and obviously taking the mick out of Batista's Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Really good promo between Dave Batista and Triple H. Next up, we had a huge announcement by Kurt Angle. He was in his hometown as well, and I honestly didn't know that Kurt Angle and Elias came from the same city, so that was interesting. And Kurt announced he is going to retire at WrestleMania. I think this is a good call. I think Kurt is a legend in the game. He's one of the first Hall of Famers still to be an active member, slightly active, I think part-time active member of the Raw roster, which was great. It's been great to have him on there, but I think it is time for Kurt to retire. He's slowed down a lot. His matches aren't as great quality as they used to be, but no, it was good. He said he wanted one more match in his hometown. Apollo Crews comes out. They have a decent match between the two of them, but Kurt Angle does get the victory with the Angle Slam, and that was it. Pretty much a goodbye homecoming tour, which we're going to see for Kurt Angle. For me, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars, mainly because of a retirement announcement, and you know, I think it's going to be a feel-good factor leading on to WrestleMania. I just hope we get someone good to take on Kurt at WrestleMania in his last match. Shelton Benjamin would be the most logical choice out of everyone. And last but not least, this led us to our main event of the night, which was supposed to be Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin, but that never happened. Roman got attacked by Drew McIntyre, and he got a Claymore kick to the face twice, once outside the ring and once near the ring post, which led Roman to bang his head onto the ring post. Obviously, they're still trying to keep Roman away from the singles matches as much as possible, while he's still, you know, coming back from beating cancers, which is always great. Yes, he got dragged backstage, did Roman, by doctors, Seth Rollins. Dean was absolutely fuming at this point. He goes to Triple H, he demands a match, he wants a no DQ match, no countouts, and Triple H gives him that. This was a hard fought match, and I know that a lot of people are like, oh, this match is perfect for Dean Ambrose, and it was, but for me as well, a former ICW champion and an ICW Hall of Famer, he's obviously going to have an upper hand as well, because he's used to hardcore matches like this as well. And it was a hard-hitting, destructive match. Both men looked absolutely fantastic. Dean Ambrose's selling is off the charts amazing. And Drew McIntyre did get the victory with a Claymore kick, with Dean stuck in a stair. I think he was stuck between some stairs, and he got kicked in the face. Drew got the victory, and then Dean was still moving, and then Drew Claymore kicked him again, and that was it. I actually thought there was still more Raw to go, But no, that was it for Raw this week. I'm going to give this match a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was an entertaining match. I do think Dean should have won, really, in my opinion. But obviously, Dean continues to lose singles matches, wins in tag teams. That's fine. But a bit of a shame. For me, it would have been a good little victory for Dean Ambrose before he leaves. But no, maybe we're leading to Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for WrestleMania. So I'm going to give this, like I say, a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. Why 10? Now on to SmackDown Live for this week, where we started off with Shane O'Mac coming out to the ring. Obviously, the crowd were absolutely booing the crap out of Shane with his attack on The Miz. The commentating team stated that The Miz was not at SmackDown this week. He was recuperating at home and making sure his dad was okay. Shane got introduced to the ring. He called the announcer back up to announce him as the best in the world. Threatened him a few times until he made it sound like he is the best in the world. Great heel promo here by Shane O'Mac. Brilliant in every way. The threatening to the announcer, to just his attitude, no cheering, and he stated why he turned heel. Pretty much he was sick and tired of everyone asking him for favours, and he has had enough of it, which is a good reason to turn heel in my opinion. He also stated that, Miz, you may be away now, but don't forget you still work for me, and I've made this announcement. We're going to fight each other on the biggest stage of it all because I enjoy beating the crap out of you at WrestleMania. Great opening segment. The match which I was thinking we would get next week being announced, but no, good to see it being announced this week. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 because Shane's promo was absolutely brilliant. This led to a massive 8-man tag team match where we saw the Hardy Boyz teaming up with Ricochet and Aleister Black to take on Rusev, Shinsuke Nakamura and the Bar. And this was again a fantastic match. This is showing how stacked the SmackDown tag team division really is. The match itself was all hard hitting. There was some parts where the heel teams of the Bar, Rusev and Shinsuke were in control. Then, obviously, momentum changed for the babyface team of the Hardys, Aleister Black and Ricochet to get in charge. It all broke into chaos where everyone was using their finishers on each other. Then the New Day come out of nowhere. They start beating the crap out of all the heels. Surprisingly, the babyfaces got out of that ring quite quickly. But no, New Day took out everyone, which ended the match in chaos. No one got declared winners, which was interesting there. I think it was because it was so chaotic already in the ring. The referee just called off the match to make it easier. And that led, obviously, the New Day sending a message to the McMahon family of what happened to Kofi Kingston at Fastlane. We also got a quick promo from the SmackDown Tag Team Champions where they just called out everyone. They said, if you want to take us on, bring it on. Really good promo from the Usos backstage as well, which is great. SmackDown's tag team division is just absolutely fantastic right now. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 star. I think the match itself was great. I think the chaotic ending really worked well because it saves everyone on the tag team division, and the Usos promo at the end was brilliant as well. Next up, we had a battle of words between Randy Orton and AJ Styles. Randy Orton pretty much named down everything he had done in his career as a WWE superstar and stated that, AJ, while I was doing this, becoming world champion, you were just in bingo halls or getting a tan thanks to Dixie Carter in Florida. Really good, strong words. AJ comes out, they cut a massive amount of promos. AJ states that Randy Orton would have never coped being in the independent scene. They pretty much lay out a lot of truths, and I don't know if this is all, but it sounds like this was pretty much no script. You guys go out, say what you want to say to each other, and see where it goes, and it worked. For me, this was probably Randy's best promo in some time, and AJ's best promo in some time as well. Both men really laying it thick for me. So AJ made the announcement, if you want to get your payment for the house you built, apparently, Randy, then you can take it back at WrestleMania. Putting the challenge out there. I think we'll get an answer next week by Randy Orton. maybe the week after, but it looks like we're definitely heading for Randy Orton versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I'm going to give this a 3.5 star. I really enjoyed this promo. Both men giving everything they wanted to give out, and it was a great promo from both men. Next up, we had Sonya Deville taking Asuka on. Sonya Deville was accompanied to the ring by her BFF, Mandy Rose. This match was very basic. Sonya did control quite a bit of it, in my opinion. Mandy got involved. She got taken out. She kind of looked like she tripped Sonya Deville. Asuka took advantage of it, put Sonya Deville in the Asuka lock. Sonya tapped out. Asuka wins. Then it looked like there was going to be like a fight between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, but no, it looks like that friendship could be coming to an end. Could we see Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville turn on each other? That will be interesting. The match itself was nothing particularly great. I really want Nikki Cross to get into this title picture. It looks like there's no one looking for the SmackDown Women's title right now, and it needs to be. They need to focus on that. And for me, Nikki Cross is the most natural person to take on Asuka right now. So I'm going to give this a 1.5 star. The match was very basic, and the kind of botch ending just really felt forced for me. Next up, we had a huge promo from Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. They were both talking about their Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch, she started out with the clutches. She threw them up to one side and walked to the ring herself. And she got a decent promo. This is probably one of Becky's best promos in some time. It didn't really add up to the feud, which was fine because the feud's already as hot as it can possibly get right now. But yes, decent job by both Becky and Charlotte. They both talked about how they're going to take each other on at WrestleMania. It felt, let's be honest, because Ronda doesn't turn up to SmackDown, she only goes to Raw. It just felt for me like this feud is building more and more on Becky and Charlotte than it is for Ronda Rousey. I know Ronda's recent heel persona is getting more attention, and I do like it, but let's be honest, the feud between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair is what's making this match more and more interesting each and every time. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars, even though it didn't add too much to the match itself. It's great to see Becky Lynch cut an absolutely decent promo with Charlotte Flair as well. Again, a bit surprising, Charlotte didn't attack Becky, which I was expecting to happen. Next up, we did get a tag team match where we saw Samoa Joe teaming up with Andrade Cien Almas to take on Rey Mysterio and R-Truth. This was, again, not as great as the match we had last week. It was, for me, slightly... It wasn't as good as Fastlane, wasn't as good as the match last week, but still a very good match, in my opinion. Rey Mysterio and R-Truth have fantastic chemistry with each other. I think everyone has great chemistry in that Fatal 4-Way, and it just shows every time these guys get in the ring. And now with this tag team one, it wasn't as good, but it was still entertaining. Samoa Joe is just a scary man. No matter what he does, it just terrifies everyone in the ring. Rey Mysterio was absolutely legendary. The guy just doesn't de-age. He looks like he's getting younger and younger every time he's in the ring. Andrade is just a hell of impressive. Andrade and Rey Mysterio were trying to pin each other, even though I don't think Andrade was the legal man at the time. I think Rey completely forgot about it, just wanted to pin his current rival, Andrade Cien Almas. Rey did get the victory for him and R-Truth, where he managed to flip Samoa Joe into a pinning position. Samoa Joe looked absolutely shocked, took it out on R-Truth and Andrade. Rey did manage to get R-Truth out of the ring before Samoa Joe could attack R-Truth again, but my god, Samoa Joe's shocked face and destructive actions afterwards were just brilliant. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 star. It was entertaining as hell, but just not as good as what we got last week. This led to another tag team match where we saw Mustafa Ali and Kevin Owens taking on Rollins and Daniel Bryan. Again, this is just closing up matches from the previous pay-per-view. A decent match again. Mustafa Ali is absolutely brilliant. The MVP for me in this match was Rollins. Came across as the most destructive force in the whole ring. Daniel Bryan was brilliant as well. His heel persona is continuously being absolutely fantastic. Kevin Owens, again, just great in the ring. I really wish they got to use the stunner on Rollins. I was expecting it, but we didn't get to see it. Kevin Owens looked like he was trying to take out Rollins, but Rollins took out Kevin Owens outside the ring. Rollins tagged himself in to replace Daniel Bryan. Mustafa Ali didn't realise that in time, and Mustafa Ali was taken out by Rollins once again, allowing Rollins and Daniel Bryan to get the victory in this match. Very hard hitting match, very entertaining. Not a lot of Kevin Owens or Daniel Bryan in this match. It was more Mustafa Ali and Rollins taking the lead in this one, which is fine. Really showcased both wrestlers' abilities in the ring, which is again a good thing. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. Rollins surprised me on how good he really is in the ring sometimes, and Mustafa Ali is just brilliant. Last but not least, this leads us into the final bit, and it was announced at the start of the show that Mr. McMahon will announce a match for Kofi Kingston for WrestleMania. Mr. McMahon comes out, he cuts a damning promo at first, then the New Day interrupts him. They cut probably the best promo of their careers. Xavier Woods and Big E leading the promo at first, really doing a fantastic job. That was their best promo, and Kofi Kingston just knocked it out of the park, where he talked about how he's been in the company for 11 years. He hasn't whinged, he hasn't whined, he hasn't gone against the authority, he hasn't threatened to leave a company if he doesn't get what he wants, and that was great. Mr. McMahon talked about how he goes, Kofi, you're a fantastic wrestler, but you're just not a main event star. You're a B+ player at best, and that's how Daniel Bryan described it, and Mr. McMahon agreed. Funny how that's how they described Kofi Kingston, exactly how they described Daniel Bryan, who was classed as a B+ player before he won the WWE title at WrestleMania. So Mr. McMahon makes a huge announcement that Kofi Kingston will have an opportunity against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania if he can win his match next week. Calls out the man he has to face, and that is none other than Randy Orton. Kofi seems fine with it. Then Samoa Joe comes out and he goes, yes, you have to beat this man as well. Then the Bar turn out and then he goes, you have to beat these gentlemen as well. And then Rollins and Daniel Bryan comes out and he goes, you have to beat Rollins as well. So it's going to be a gauntlet match. If you can't beat all these men next week, you will not be inserted into WrestleMania's WWE title match. Amazing, really good promo from both Mr. McMahon and Kofi Kingston. Really enjoyed the Bar, and everyone came out and they tried to take down the New Day, but the New Day, just so angry, so annoyed, managed to hold back all the heels who tried to take him out, which was great. Kofi Kingston got a huge pop when he finished off Cesaro with Trouble in Paradise, and that just ended the show. For me, a really strong promos from everyone, and the survival of the babyface team there at the end was just brilliant as well. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 star. Really enjoyed it. And there you go, guys. That was the first and most likely the last Raw vs SmackDown episode. If you do like it, leave it in comments below. Say, look, I prefer this way of formatting and I will do it this way instead from now on. But what was your favourite part of SmackDown and Raw? Leave it in the comments as well, guys. But who won this week? Well, for me, I'm going to give Raw a 2.5 star. I think that's a fair score. Majority of the show was just okay, but everything else, yeah. SmackDown, on the other hand, was entertaining from start to finish. Shane O'Mac's brilliant, and Kofi Kingston is just absolutely legendary right now. So I'm going to give SmackDown a 3 out of 5 stars for this week. So SmackDown is the winner for this week. Yay! But if you do like our videos, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that bell to keep notified. If you want to follow us on the old Twitter, it's at SmackTalkTube. That's a U and a tube. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.